Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Ripe for Reissue. And I'm talking now about the Paavo Berglund box on Warner. Now, this made it to Warner. It was originally an EMI icon box. And see, it says icon down here. And it's got 13 CDs, and Warner redid it. So it was around for a while. It really was, but I just checked Amazon, which of course doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's not there anymore. This says the Bournemouth Years, his years at Bournemouth, which was early on in his career. Paavo Berglund was the first of the what's now become a legacy of Swiss conductors. Most of the subsequent ones were trained by Jorma Panula, and Esa-Pekka Salonen and Jukka-Pekka Saraste and Sakari Oramo, and there's just an endless list of them, and they're taking over the world, and good for them because they're mostly very gifted. Berglund was a tremendously talented conductor who's known to most of us from his Sibelius recordings, which he'd made many times. He did a cycle in Bournemouth, he did a cycle with the Helsinki Philharmonic, and he did a cycle with the Chamber Orchestra of Europe. Over and over and over. Each time, his interpretations were more refined, more detail-oriented, less craggy. He got better at the later works and less good at the earlier works. His vision of the music changed tremendously over time, I think. But he gave us the first recording of Kullervo, and it's still one of the great ones. And he did some amazing work in Bournemouth. He was a very fine orchestra trainer. He got these people to play extremely well, and he had some genuine affinity with quite a bit of music. And I want to talk about what's on here because it's really marvelous. These 13 discs, you do not get the you don't get the Sibelius Symphony cycle, but the Kullervo is here. It's the last thing. And you do get a bunch of Sibelius tone poems on discs 12 and 13. You get Finlandia, Tapiola, The Swan of Twinella, Lemminkainen's Return, Val's Triest, The Oceanides, Finlandia, and another Tapiola. There's one from 82 and one from 87. Tapiola was one of his things. Wonderful performance, urgent, not one of those slow, droopy ones. He's really fine with it. So that's what you get with his Sibelius stuff. But let's talk about the other 11 discs, because there's some wonderful, wonderful stuff here that he did in Bournemouth, particularly, well, we'll see in a moment. So we have a mixed-up disc that gives you Glinka's Val's Fantasy, Rimsky-Korsakov's May Night Overture, the Golden Cockerel Suite, Prokofiev's Summer Night Suite, and Glazanov's Concert Waltz No. 1. It's a wonderful collection of all kinds of things, some rarities and some more common stuff. Then you get 4 discs, discs 2 through 5, it's 4 discs, yes, of his Shostakovich. And his Shostakovich was almost uniformly wonderful. You've got Symphony No. 5, Symphony No. 6, No. 10, No. 7, the Leningrad, and No. 11. Now, of these, they're all very good. They really are. But numbers 6 and 11 came out, they were the last of them, and they came out on a twofer. And they were astounding. First of all, they were sonically amazing. They were, the great EMI recordings of their day. And if you got them as imports, a nice, heavy, thick vinyl, my God, they sounded gorgeous, and they still do. They're thrilling, thrilling performances. He really got Shostakovich. And so these are really nice. And people who know their Shostakovich admire Berglund's version of them very, very much. When his Leningrad Symphony came out, it was one of the few, it was the only one outside of Russia for a while, I think. Really an amazing performance. So there you go. Then we have the Smetana Vlast, which is fabulous. It's with the Staatskapelle Dresden, which helps because they're fabulous. But it's one of the great Mavlasts by a non-Czech person. And there was also some other stuff with the Staatskapelle Dresden. You had the Scherzo Capriccioso by Dvorak and the Slavonic Rhapsody No. 3, which nobody knows, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful, wonderful work. It's influenced by Berlioz. The main theme sounds a bit like the Corsair Overture. You know, da 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 ba 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 ba. That's Berlioz, and the Dvorak is ya da 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 ba ba ba. Quite similar. And Dvorak knew the Berlioz stuff quite well because he played some of it when he was violist in the Provisional Theater in Prague. Anyway, we've got that. The Franck Symphony in D minor. Who knew? It's really, really quite good. Let me see who else is doing this. So this is, it's the Bournemouth Years, but it's not all with the Bournemouth Symphony. So, yes, we've got the Staatskapelle Dresden, the Franck Symphony in D minor with Bournemouth, which is remarkably fine. And then there's, Vaughan Williams Fourth. Slamming Vaughan Williams Fourth. These are with the Royal Phil, with the Lark Ascending and the Oboe Concerto. And they are amazing. It's one of the great Vaughan Williams Fourths. I mean, it really is. It's one of the first that we ever heard that approached the composer's own for just sheer anger and guts. It's powerful, really powerful. And then Vaughan Williams Sixth with Bournemouth. Now, that was earlier than the Fourth. That was 74. The Fourth was 79, I think. Let me see. Right? Yes, it was. And it's a very, very good Sixth. The sonics are a little bit on the shallow side. You don't hear the bass rumble quite like you want to in the Fourth. But on the other hand, it's still a very, very fine performance. Then you've got Arthur Bliss, Miracle in the Gorbals, the ballet suite. When was the last time you heard that? That's really cool. And some Grieg. We've got some Grieg stuff. Peer Gynt Suites 1 and 2 with Alphen's Swedish Rhapsody No. 1, the Midsummer Vigil. And the Armas Jarnefelt Preludium and Grieg's Symphonic Dances, Opus 64. That's a 77-minute disc. It's very, very well filled. That performance of the Grieg Symphonic Dances is as good as anything you'll ever hear in your life. It's really, really fine. And then we've got the other more Grieg, the Old Norwegian Romance with Variations on CD 11. And we've got some Ola Bull, the Herd Girls Sunday. That's exciting. Johan Halvorsson's Entry of the Boyers. M. Schallester's Moldavian Dance Liana. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds, in case you missed it. Hugo Alphen's Elegy from King Gustav Adolf II. And Nielsen's Fifth. Wow. Nielsen's Fifth with Bournemouth, and that was a good Nielsen 5. He did a terrible Nielsen cycle with the Danish orchestra for RCA. It was, I forget which, Danish radio or something. It was underplayed, strangely flabby, diffusely recorded Nielsen cycle. One of the worst things he ever did. So if you want to hear his Nielsen, that's the way to do it. There are still better Nielsen 5s around, but it's okay. And then the others are the 2 Sibelius discs I mentioned at the beginning of this video. One way or another, Berglund does not deserve to be neglected, and this legacy is of very, very high quality. And it's limited in, interesting Scandinavian stuff, some Shostakovich and Sibelius. So you can get it, and you're not going to get like insane amounts of duplication, maybe the Franck D minor. And you've got the British part, which is, his British recordings are as good as anything anybody was doing, and better than most. Certainly the Vaughan Williams Fourth is a reference recording. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So there you are. Give Berglund a shot if you can get your hands on him, or find some of these bits in their original issues. They were first class. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.